Welcome, lovers of fine whiskeys, to Geek Salad's Retro Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight we conclude April's Geek Salad Disney month with the last of our 4 live-action Disney classics. This week we are discussing 1959's Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Please don't try to with an Irish accent.
Oh, you're going to get a lot of that tonight. Oh, so much.
I mean, in fairness, though, the guy who plays Darby and the guy who plays King Brian are Irish.
Right, exactly. They are both Irish. You are absolutely correct, 100% about that. But whose face is front and center on the Disney Chiron on Disney Plus?
Well, because it's Sean freaking Connery. That's why.
True. That's true. And as far as I'm aware, he's not Irish at all. Actually.
No, he is very Scottish.
Very Scottish, which is hilarious because in the movie Highlander, he played a Spaniard.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we are concluding with the movie that didn't even. I don't think anybody voted for this one in our poll. We got one vote.
I think we got one vote for it. Yeah,
one vote, but it was like it was far and away like it trailed on that. So I got a question before we begin the conversation, Mike. With your family, how Irish are you?
I mean, I think I've got a little bit of Irish on my mother's side. I mean, her maiden name is Harrington, so that's kind of English Isles area.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some Irish in there somewhere.
There might be. Like personally, biologically, I have a little smidge of Irish. However, my wife, her family is very. Don't let the last name of Dumas mislead you. This is a very Irish family. Her mother's maiden name is Glynn. So because I married into this on the scale of Irishness, starting from 0 to give me that fucking whiskey or I'll break your fucking face. I'm around. It's not a stick, it's a shillelagh. It is well known as some of the other Disney movies. Is it, Kurt? Okay. In some circles, and I will get into this when I start talking at length about this. I do want to preface this conversation before we really begin with, there was a point I was about 2/3 through the movie when I texted Mike and went, what even is this movie?
I was wondering where you were in the movie when you texted me that.
I was about 2/3 of the way through. Then you're like, oh, stick with it. It gets better. I'm like,
yeah, see, I thought you were at the beginning.
No, I was not.
Okay.
At all. All right, so we'll start with our first question we always ask. When was the first time you saw Darby O'Gill and the Little People?
Oh, this was one of the VHS rentals back in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely one of those.
White, covered in dust, clamshell.
Oh, yep. You know it.
Yeah, with those ridges that like grease and dirt just got stuck into, so there was no such thing as a wet case anymore. I never heard of this movie until my friend wanted to strangle me for saying I haven't seen it at all. Kurt, I'm noticing a trend in your Disney, your classic Disney movies. With all of your friends have essentially vowed to commit violence on you if you haven't seen these movies. So, I hate to be that film Twitter guy, dude, but watch more movies. I'm kidding, of course. No, you are very well versed in movies, Kurt. But it is interesting though that. Full disclosure, it's just my one friend. I think that one friend needs to seek counseling then. If it's always like bed knobs and broomsticks, you motherfucker. In all honesty, this is the first time I think I've seen this movie consciously. I have most
unconsciously.
I've most likely seen in my childhood bits and pieces of this thing on the Magical World of Disney. I am familiar with it. I have seen clips of Sean Connery. I'll call it singing.
Hey, he's got a fine voice. In fact, I just today I got this kind of used. But
is that vinyl?
No, No,
Oh.
it's 3 CDs.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, Mike,
But-
hey, welcome to the dark side, buddy.
No, but it does have a. It was, I think it was made in the like 90s, early 2000s. But it actually has Sean Connery singing My Pretty Irish Girl.
Okay.
So
And you know the sad thing is that like you're saying singing, and I'm automatically thinking Whale of a Tale, and I'm like, oh man, no, that's the wrong movie.
yeah,
That one already.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
4 weeks ago.
So in terms of the legacy of this movie, and I'm going to get to Kurt's point now about he'd never heard of this movie. There were a lot of the more modern. I thought it was a laser disc. Nope. You know what the funny thing is, Kurt? The second I saw that pop up, and just for a second, my mind was like, "What is a laser disc? Oh, it's a laser disc." Okay.
See, 3 CDs.
Oh God, laser discs though. Oh, I miss laser discs. Like DVDs, only without all the stuff.
Like DVDs, if DVDs and records had a baby.
Kind of, yeah. That's another conversation, though. That's a Suncoast conversation. But it was, this is the kind of movie that, like, if you grew up, like, when it was really difficult to go to movies, like it's not difficult to go to movies now, but back when, like, and I'm going to use my mother-in-law as an example here, because my mother-in-law, like, when we set her up with my Disney Plus account, and she's immediately goes 50s. Let's like look through the decades. 50s. I'm living here because it's what she grew up with. And when her parents would take her, keep in mind she was one of 6 children. They couldn't take all the kids, so it's like, you know, Jan's special night. Let's go to the movies. That's why she loves Sleeping Beauty so much. But this is the kind of movie that she would have been taken to in the movie theater and have like this real fondness in her heart for it. I was thinking this past weekend, I was going to show it to my kids. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would have only heard my daughter complain about the rampant sexism in this movie with the 2 female characters. And I think she would have been bored, but my son would have automatically just started.
Oh, yeah. No, your son.
Circles.
Oh, yeah. No, your son would have never watched this one.
Neither of my kids would have gotten through this. I got through it, but then again, I've got a healthy dose of cynicism that gets me to carry through these movies. And see, I know I cut deep, Mike. I know I cut deep. So
I love this movie.
Okay. And again, I just want to get back to one thing real quick about the whole Irish thing. This whole movie is essentially a couple of Irish yarns sewn together. Didn't even mean to word it that way. It is based on stories. The Tales of Darby O'Gill. And it's just like, again, because of the, you know, it's not a stick, it's a shillelagh level of Irish I have essentially been in for the last 20 plus years. I've heard all of the stories and I've heard all the music, and it's just like, I don't know. It might just be, I might be over Irished out, but that's just me. In terms of the Irish folklore and everything like that,
there was actually I remembered that there being Irish, like, you know, kind of supernatural elements in this.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I thought that would. Sorry, I turned that off. But I didn't realize that there was so much Irish and Gaelic in this. I guess I just, last time I'd seen it all the way through, I just didn't really kind of pick up on it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, obviously there was the Banshee, but like the Death Coach, they actually use the actual Gaelic term for that. King Brian used a lot of Gaelic terms himself.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that when I was younger, but I thought it was more than I was expecting. But I thought it was really nice, kind of keeping it with whole, like, the feel of the movie.
Yeah. And the thing is, getting back to the Death Coach, I thought the special effects were actually really good.
The special effects were, I mean, especially for 1959,
they held up
really good. Yeah,
they held up really, really well. And again, I think that's just Walt was still alive at this point, so
yeah,
there was a lot of love and care put into these special effects.
Yeah, he wouldn't die for another 7 more years.
Right. And quite honestly, I mean, the special effects were fun. A lot of the effects with the leprechauns was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was only one moment where I could actually see the outline around Darby, and that was actually after he had fallen in the well and he was just laying down, and the leprechauns were looking over him. You could see like a slight black outline around him, but every other time I thought it was seamlessly integrated.
It's also interesting too with the with like some of the photo effects that they use, like the hey cat with the horse. It's like, here's the horse that's going to bring you to the leprechaun city. Photo negative radio. Yeah. Very trippy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I've got a cat butt in my face.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll continue talking then.
Yeah. I didn't realize until I looked it up on Wikipedia while I was watching it that that horse is actually a puka.
Okay.
Which is a being of Irish folklore. They kind of bring people either good luck or bad luck. It can vary.
Yeah.
And in this case, I guess King Brian was using it to kind of get Darby O'Gill into the fairyland.
You're right, exactly. That whole scene, by the way, where Darby is just playing the fiddle and all of the leprechauns are dancing around. I'm just like, what's going on?
Hey, they're leprechauns. They can't avoid the fox hunt. They just love that music. It stirs up the dancing in them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it this. This movie is far better than the Leprechaun's Christmas Gold.
Yeah,
and far less offensive.
And the Banshee is a better effect as well.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Autumn about that, and she said that like the Banshee effect scared her when she was a kid.
Oh yeah, like, same here. Same here.
That see that. I mean, I'm a grown ass man now, so I don't think that like. I was like, okay, I can see why a child would be scared by this.
I mean, when the Banshee's up on the mountain, that's one bit. But like when they're at the house and he opens the door and there it is, that part got me every single freaking time when I was a kid. Oh wow.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the cast of Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
You start this off. I think
Mike absolutely
trying to get out.
You know what is interesting too? Looking at the trivia on IMDb, apparently Sean Connery was the last surviving cast member of this when he passed last year.
Yeah. I said it is. I think Janet Monroe was one of the first ones to die.
Yeah, she died. Well, she died in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Most of these guys. So Albert Sharp died in 1970. So Jimmy O'Day, who played King Brian, 1965.
Ooh.
Yeah, he wasn't that old.
No.
Yeah, most of these people were. Yeah, most of them died in like this anywhere between like 1963 or so.
Yeah,
like the mid 70s was Sean Connery and Kieran Moore, who played Pony.
Pony McGrew.
Surge. Yeah, he died in 2007.
Oh wow!
And I'm reading here that he was actually an Irish actor, which is funny because he really kind of came across as being like one of those token Americans that they just threw into there. There was no sign of an accent at all, and
yeah, I think like I mean, Janet Monroe, Sean Connery, and Estelle Winwood were like they're probably the least Irish people in the movie.
Yeah.
But the rest of them actually, I think the rest of them were most of this cast was Irish.
Right. Right. And most of them are probably in a lot of Irish film, tons of Irish stage. I mean, there is no such thing as a non-depressing Irish drama. Seriously. And I remember also, like, we're watching this movie and I'm texting you like, oh my God, the teeth. Why are there so many close up on their teeth?
I tried not to pay attention to that. I mean, please, this was like the 50s and 60s in the English Isles. No one had good teeth.
That's yeah. So
tell me I'm
yeah,
wrong.
I mean,
tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to tell you you're
no,
wrong.
No, I was telling our audience. Tell me.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. That's what we always joke about that in our house because we're just awful people. But yeah, I mean, Albert, I mean, the performances in this movie were good. If not, I mean, again, it's that level of Disney ham. Play up the accent. I mean, which is better than having them be Irish, but only having like the slightest, most intelligible accent whatsoever. I think they locked you in prison if you had good teeth. That reminds me of that SNL commercial from the 90s where they had like the real British toothpaste for real British people. Now with 2 teaspoons of sugar in every tube for those great British smiles. Yeah, I mean, Albert Sharp is good. He is as good as he is allowed to be in this movie, I think.
I thought it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. He's also, again, for the most part, he's playing against nothing.
I mean, well, kind of against forced perspective most of the time.
Yeah. Which I think he did a good job of. I thought Janet Monroe was serviceable,
I thought she was fine.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that she wasn't just she wants to figure out how to wear this. She wasn't like easy for Sean Connery to get. Their
Right.
relationship was very, very even keeled.
Yes, the hard-headed Irish lass.
Right.
All right. So now we've landed on Connery. So a couple things. First of all, thank God Bond taught him how to throw and take a punch. That fight scene with Pony was tough, and I'm watching this with somebody who's got a full, scholarly knowledge of James Bond movies. I'm like, oh.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you only see about like maybe 20 seconds of the actual fight. The rest of the time, it's on Darby and the other people reacting to the fight. That was
Man, are you watching this? No, I wish I was. Why do you keep panning back to the crowd?
That was one thing I did notice. I was like, oh, they're fighting, and then we're just looking at Darby reacting, reacting. Oh, back to the fight. Oh no, back to reacting.
Sean with his over-exaggerated punch in the face. And then there's that scene where King Brian sneaks in to his bedroom at night.
Yeah.
And again, I've seen enough James Bond movies that the first thing that came to mind is, oh my God, he's going to kill him by dripping poison down a thread and down his throat. Nothing good ever happens when you see young Sean Connery sleeping.
No, but he's not usually acting against a leprechaun.
Yeah. You expect me to make a wish? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to make 4 so I can do away with the others. Yeah. Go ahead. Be positive, please, because.
Oh yeah, lots of positive because I love this movie. I mean, really, for me, the core of this movie is really the relationship between King Brian and Darby.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, they have a nice, great rivalry going, but at the end of the day, that they have complete respect for each other, and I mean, King Brian's been around for like what 3,000 to 5,000 years, and this is probably the first like real intellectual mortal that he's been dealt with,
right?
And I think he actually says like in over 1,000 years. So, and when he does the kind of the twist at the end, it's oh hold on.
Oh, he's gonna kick a toaster. Kick a toaster and say, "Shocking."
Shocking. Yeah. But I mean, and they Brian obviously legitimately care for him. I mean, he tried to bring him to Fairy Realm so he wouldn't have to deal with the being forcibly retired.
Yep.
And at the end, he saves his life.
Yeah. So, no, he definitely does. He definitely has got that respect for him. It was interesting though. It's like, Brian's waiting for Darby to make his final wish and be set free. It's like, no, it's Sunday. Listen to the church bells. And I'm like, okay, first of all, at least it's not to that Protestant whore. But it's funny too, because the only thing I could think of is, are you familiar with that Monty Python routine about, it's nice, it's the church bells.
Oh yeah.
See you bloody. Yeah, exactly.
But
louder. The church is getting closer.
Break out the anti-church rockets.
Point at the nearest house of worship.
That's St. Mark's. It isn't right now.
Oh boy, yeah. It's it's good that this is on there because it does preserve a lot of the Disney history of their earlier films. And I can definitely appreciate that, especially for people that are looking to watch some older movies, especially for what were people paying to see back in the 50s. This is one that they would have paid to see.
Yeah.
And so I think for posterity's sake, and again, the beauty of the Disney Plus platform is that these movies are on there. Still don't have Condor Man, but at least we have almost everything from the 1950s. Not letting that go, Mike.
I know you're not, but I don't know why.
I need a hill to die on. Okay, Disney Plus has given me everything I could possibly want. I want this low tier, just Disney is running in the red super spy movie. I want it so badly. I
have never seen Condor Man. The only frame of reference I have to Condor Man is like back in front of their VHSs. They had this long clip of various movies from the history, and they would have Condor Man, and they just show this guy in their just stupid ass costume doing this weird flapping flying thing. And that's the only frame of reference to Condor Man I have. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to see more.
Right, exactly. Oh, you know what, though? At least we won't be getting the Devil and Max Devlin, because I'm sure that Disney Plus would have purged all of the Cosby stuff by that point.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to hell, you see. Figuratively and literally.
Yeah, I wonder who owns the rights to Ghost Dad.
Oh, I think that's actually Touchstone. You're looking it up, aren't you?
I am so looking that one up.
I am fairly certain Ghost Dad was distributed by Touchstone Pictures. If not Touchstone, then the Hollywood Pictures, because if it's a Sphinx, it stinks.
Ooh, what was even sadder? It was directed by Sidney Poitier.
Yes, I know.
Distributed by Universal.
Really?
Universal Pictures. So they've got that.
They get to take that burden, huh?
Yeah, they get that piece of surely wonderful cinema.
Wow. So I don't know about you. I'm pretty much. I have nothing else to say about Darby O'Gill. If you're in the mood for some prime Disney corn, then
or some truly wonderful Disney nostalgia movie.
All right. Okay. See, this is why it works.
For me, it's not even fully nostalgic because I just watched it and I still think it's really enjoyable and really good, well done.
Right. And I'm not 70 years old, so I can't be nostalgic about it. But I watched it, cut through it, had some positive things to say about it. I consider that to be a win. Like I'm gonna, ow, God, that hurt. Hurt myself, pat myself on the back. Damn, it happens every time.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So that concludes our Disney month. So no more talk of Disney. So guess what we're doing next week, Mike?
We're going to Pixar?
We're resuming our Pixar discussion.
Also, just one last thing. If you're waiting for our podcast, the Disney episode for our podcast, it should be up Well, hopefully tonight.
Cool. So new podcast, folks.
Yeah.
Also, our Disney podcast, just in the nick of time for the month of April, too, I might add.
Yeah.
Where we talk about the moments in Disney and Pixar that fucking broke us.
Oh, this was a hard one to edit.
I
Really
know
hard.
it took a lot. It took a lot. Meanwhile, I've got the next episode, which is already in the can, and I'm just like, I just gotta slap some stuff on it because it's audio commentary.
Yeah.
But anyway, we so that was our yay, awesome. Kurt's going to listen to tomorrow morning. Woo!
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you for listening, and I'm so happy you started listening to Behind the Bastards too. So
I can even tell you the episode will be just under an hour and 45 minutes long.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So we are going back to Pixar next week, where we are picking up. Now, as I mentioned last time, we already covered Ratatouille in a previous episode. So I'll probably drop that on social media just to kind of keep the continuity going. But we had that conversation about 2 years ago. So we're going to go to the next movie, 2008's WALL-E.
Actually, I just for our podcast, trying to find a clip. I watched that final episode scene of that one, and
WALL-E.
That's a tearjerker. It's a happy tearjerker, but it's a tearjerker nonetheless.
So plenty of good stuff, folks. Speaking of podcasts, Mike and I do host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. And if you are listening on iTunes, give us a 5-star review, please. We thrive on those. And apparently in the world of podcasts, they're the only ones that count. So do that. If you like our videos, please tell your friends, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. And we want to know, what are your thoughts on Darby O'Gill and the Little People? Are you a fan of it? Are you like Kurt, who hasn't seen it, and you've had a friend threaten bodily harm to you for not seeing it? We want to know. Definitely check it out. Leave a polite comment, though. And subscribe, because we do this every week. Actually, tonight, for a while, will be the last of 2 episodes in a row. Because if you stick around, in a few minutes after we wrap this one up, we're going to be talking about the 6th and final episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And eventually, Retro Records is going to come back. We're just working through everybody's schedules. I have a feeling we're going to do more of those during the summer, maybe especially during Record Store Day. Which will be fun. So we're gonna we'll get back to that eventually. It's been tough with Todd doing school and Jim doing school and me doing this and all the other things. And so so we'll come back to it eventually. I promise you, it will be back. Check that out. If you're a fan, if you're just discovering Geek Salad right now, if you just happened upon this because we're apparently the only people talking about Darby O'Gill and the Little People,
For
and you like
shame.
what you hear, follow us on the social medias. We are on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. And if you really like us and you want to support the show, go to TeePublic and pick up some of our amazing swag. It's teepublic.com, keyword Geek Salad Podcast. Second COVID shot goes in the arm next week, which means I'm going to be laying in bed doing nothing but designing new swag for us. So boom, boom, boom. So very excited about that. So until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth, be nerdful, and may the devil may you be in heaven an hour after before the devil knows that you're dead. See, I can't do this.
Did you want to try that again or no?
No, I don't. We're not going to re-edit it.